We are streaming Trooper Steve on patrol. Guys, I'm excited because beginning of the year started off a little slow for Trooper Steve on patrol. And I've been trying to get this gentleman in this truck for a hot minute. Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Stanley Murray from the Eatonville Police Department. How cool it is that I finally got you in this thing.
Finally, my brother.
Chief,
finally.
What a pleasure it is to finally have you in the truck. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I have no complaints.
You never complain about anything.
No.
I've known you for a few years now. I've always seen you, one, with a smile, and always with some type of like positive energy going on. And no matter who you run into around this town, Stanley Murray's got a positive vibe. So
that's the case.
Thanks for being with me today. I know you're super busy. I know since coming here to Eatonville, you are being a true transformative chief here in historic Eatonville. But before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about you.
Okay.
I know you're not a me talker. It's all about your people. But
exactly.
You got here some way, and I want the people to kind of figure out how did Stanley get here. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Where are you from?
I was born in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, but I grew up in a little town called Quincy, Florida, right outside Tallahassee.
I know where Quincy is.
Yes, sir.
Florida Highway Patrol Academy is not too far away from there. You're
Yes,
right
sir.
there. We almost share the city limits there.
Exactly. Of course, I'm a Florida State guy. You know how that works.
Okay.
Florida A&M, Fairview. That's where my heart is.
So you grew up in the Panhandle.
Mhm.
Do you come from law enforcement?
No. I don't think I have any direct relatives. I may have an uncle that did it for a little while, but
Okay.
yeah, it's funny. I have a very, very large. My grandfather, he had 13 children. My dad was the oldest of those.
13?
Yeah.
Stayed busy.
Yeah. So, but I grew up just learning that, with faith, you got to have some works.
Oh, I like that.
You got to get some work done.
I like that.
And to this day, I believe in that.
I like that. So, to be transparent, you think Quincy, and when I'm very familiar with that part of the state, that's your average Florida folk in the Panhandle.
Yes, sir.
And so I'm learning a little bit about you too while you're saying that, because I didn't know that, but it explains your humbleness.
Yes, sir.
How your demeanor and your energy. Where was the light bulb that goes, I think I'm going to be a cop?
It's ironic. I left high school, went right into the military, U.S. Navy. Ended up doing 22 years of that.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Veteran to veteran. Thank you
Yes,
for your
sir.
service.
Yes,
I didn't
sir.
know you were a Navy guy.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
you left Quincy, went straight to the Navy.
Yes, sir. Right out of high school, 17 years old.
Man.
Great Lakes up in Illinois. Had never seen how cold it could get at that age. But I was like, oh my, it's different.
So what was your job in the Navy?
I started out, I was what they called an operations specialist. It was kind of like a radar man. I helped with the tracking of missiles and planes and all that kind of stuff. And then I crossed over into a military police rank.
All right.
And from
that's where the bug bit you.
Yeah.
So you had any cool places while you're 22 years?
Oh man, I've been all over: Spain, Dubai, Naples, Rota, Italy. I mean, it's been.
If a ship can go there, you were there.
And then as a police instructor, I was able to teach all over the world anti-terrorism, which is now, you would call it a version of crime prevention.
Right.
In States.
And I'll say a lot of people don't realize that, Chief. Like, being an Air Force guy, I was a security policeman.
Right.
And I got to really expand out not only in law enforcement, but force protection, counterterrorism, how to look at communities, not from a law enforcement perspective, but how to prevent terrorist activity.
Exactly.
And some people are like, Steve, your range, I go, the military is like drinking water out of a fire hose. And when you get into a specialty like yours, they don't just teach you how to make a traffic stop.
No.
You learn a global law enforcement kind of thing.
Yeah.
So 22 years in the Navy, traveled all over the place. Most people would say, you did it. But then you had a whole nother career before you even put this uniform on.
Right.
So before you went over to, I'm going to give it away, the Orange County Sheriff's Office, were you with anyone else prior?
No, I did security.
Okay.
It's funny. I was a bike security officer at Florida Mall, and then I worked midnights.
After retiring from the Navy? So that was cake to you.
I was still in reserve part of it.
Right.
I still stayed in. But then I was working night shift at Orlando Regional riding a bike. I was probably the most athletic guy you ever want to meet.
You're still pretty fit. Chief. You're still pretty fit.
But I was just into this security thing, and I had aspirations. I had applied at the sheriff's office a couple of times, and finally on the third time, I was hired. And came out of the academy. I was class president.
Of course you were class president.
Yeah, God is just so good, if I can say that online.
Hey, I say God is good all the time. I say blessings. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God. So.
And he just started putting my destiny in place. And I went to the sheriff's office, and in 28 years, I was just blessed to get into positions of dealing with people in some of the most critical things. I mean, patrol is one aspect of it, but when I moved into the community policing realm, I was
That's where you found your home.
That was my niche, and I began to just be that extra conduit with the sheriffs that I worked under. I worked under 3, and all 3 were able to come out of the community, and they say, "Hey, that guy Stanley Murray, I like him. I like what he's doing."
I was about to say, you were under a few different commands, and you got left alone. Like, they kept you where they knew you were going to do good in the community. And I like that, because some people show up and they're like, just move them to move them. Some commands do that.
Right.
But it's really nice when you get law enforcement leadership that goes, leave that guy right where he's at. He's doing great work out there.
Great work.
So, but coming from a law enforcement side, I get to see things and ask questions a little differently. And it's unheard of. Where you did how long with Orange County?
28 years.
28 years. You retired as
master deputy.
A master deputy, and that's where I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So you retired as a deputy, 28 years of service, and you became a chief of police afterwards. Now, I click like it was nothing.
Right.
But you're talking 22 years of service in the Navy, then countless years of service as a deputy, and then someone somewhere goes, that's what we want leading our community. And they picked you.
That's it.
I would love, we have some time, to know how that moment happened for you in this community, because I've spoken to people in this community. Right. They love you. Your state rep loves you. Everybody in this area knows who you are, and most people, if they apply for a chief of police, they've had mass rank on their shoulder. Their resume is just, it's all paper. But to me, it looks like they were looking for the right fit for Eatonville and not a resume, and they found you. Talk to me about how that happened.
Well, I think, the opportunity to interview, and even during that pattern of interview, there were a lot of other people with managerial positions who interviewed from other agencies across the state, and they just could see the difference, the vast difference of, I wasn't talking about position, I was talking about purpose. You can be in a position of doing things, but the purpose is what drives you to get up in the morning and move it through the day. And when things aren't right, you still move forward.
Right.
And that's what I tried to explain in my interview, that I will be the guy that no matter what happens, we have to keep the purpose moving. And my purpose was to continue relationships with this community, that they can feel safe and know that they were being looked after. And then I had to build up the staff of them recognizing that they're necessary and that they're needed and that they're dealing with names, not numbers. Because in this data-driven industry that we're in, it's all about stats. UCR stats, all that kind of stuff. But we're dealing with people. And a lot of people here are much older than I am. They have a lot of history, a lot of things that they bring to the table. And sometimes I just walk up and down Kennedy Boulevard and just meet and relate and talk. So I can learn the environment that I'm in and find out what those real needs are. Because you can have a paper need, but I wanted to have a purpose need.
What would you say was the biggest challenge for you when you got here?
I think just trying to understand how to move forward.
Okay.
They had not had a install chief. They had an interim for a period of time, but in that position, I'm sure it's not a lot of vision driven. So coming in was, how do I start from the ground up? And a lot of it was, there were a lot of things that need to be handled. So I was
almost like redoing the culture here.
Exactly. Almost building a police department from the ground up.
Interesting.
So there was a lot of things I was good at, but I wasn't able to be great because I was in many different facets of it. So I'm building my staff up, getting them trained, getting them equipment, getting them vehicles, making sure I'm working with the mayor and the council on what their desires and what they're expecting from the police department, and then of course hearing from the community itself. So it's a lot going on in that period. Not having a deputy chief or anything like that. So I had to try to, learn how to maneuver all that in and still be able to be a good husband and a good father.
Amen. So you coming here, a lot of people don't realize we are Eatonville, a small town. Mm-hmm. Population size, how big is Eatonville?
I think we're close now to about a little over 3,000.
Okay, so your police department, not that big. How big full time?
Right now we're sitting at almost 15.
Okay.
We have some reserves that we're hiring and bringing in, so that's kind of helped supplement some of that as well.
I say that because you're taking on a big role as chief with a small department because you don't have, it's not a big command section. Mm-hmm. You rely a lot of responsibility on some of your mid-level supervisors to kind of step in and things like that. And I think about that sometimes because people are like, well, why can't this department do it? Or why can't, it's like, well, you can only do what you can with what you have. Mm-hmm. And people, I think, they look at, well, if Orange County Sheriff's Office has this, why doesn't Eatonville? It's like, well, you have to look at the size and with the responsibility and things. So for you, you don't have a deputy chief.
No.
The big command sections that normally people see, you don't have.
No.
So it's you, 2 lieutenants, and the rest of your crew.
The rest of my crew.
And you're making it work.
Making it work.
What's the future? What do you see? What's your biggest goal right now for you personally as the chief that you want to see happen here in Eatonville? Because the cars have looked better so far. I've seen that. You know me. I like to talk some smack.
Yeah.
And several years ago, you cruise around and you're like, guys, what are you driving right now?
Mm-hmm.
And they knew that too.
Right.
And you showed up and suddenly things starting to look a little cleaned up around Eatonville with the police. And that's a pride thing for cops.
That's a pride thing, it is.
Talk to me about that.
I mean, I think the future of what we're holding here with the implementation of foreseeing the hunger for property starting to, get generated into, that's going to be a plus. Future housing that's coming. There's a senior center they're looking at building. We're looking at putting a police athletic league building over in the Catalina Park area that's going to be full of training for seniors and for youth on anything that can help them become stronger in their careers and setups. So I think a lot of now is just getting my guys strong. I want them strong. I want them confident. And if they decide they want to go to a bigger agency, that's fine. But I think a lot of them see something different here. They see that they have a chief that's concerned about not just what's happening when they're on the clock, but also at home. Are you getting quality time with your family? I'm demanding that they take vacation. I'm demanding that they get off and get themselves de-escalated down. Because if you're dealing with, chaotic situations every day, so where are you getting rid of it? I don't want you going home and dumping it on your wife and your kids. I'd rather you take off a day or two, and so you can spend a weekend with them and just be a person. And so
that's real intentional thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was watching something the other day. You make me so proud that I've got you in the car right now, because to have people like you in this community speaks volumes. To hear that come out of your mouth. I was watching something the other day, and the doctor was saying the average civilian will maybe have 3 to 4 critical incidents occur in their life. Mm-hmm. The average patrol officer will encounter over 300 traumatic critical incidents, not just someone stubbed a toe. We're talking traumatic hospital visits and things that nightmares are made of. Yes. And you're sitting here going, my guys are mandated to take time off.
Yes.
That speaks volumes. And I don't think people, they think Eatonville, it's like, oh, what could be happening? It's like everything that could happen anywhere else can happen here. And just because it's a small police department does not mean crime does not happen. No. Talk to me a little bit about what you guys see here as things of crime that the community can help you guys a little bit and start to prevent those things.
We're in a blessed position here. We have the lowest crime per capita in Orange County.
That's a big deal.
I would say
that's a big deal, guys.
It is.
Like for being small, you would think the criminal would want to come here, but they know better.
No. I mean, and in my tenure of 2 years now, I think our crime has dropped at least between 40 to 60%. Of what we're responding and dealing with, and a lot of it is just bringing that component of community policing.
Okay.
People may laugh at it and say, well, is it really necessary?
Yes, 100% it's necessary.
But I'm telling you, when you begin to connect with those who are here and they just want to come home from work and rest their eyes, and they begin to come and relate with you. We have a lot of community events we do. I help co-labor with just last weekend I did a CPR day with a sorority here that's in this area. I've done some things with karate tournament.
Okay.
I've done Meet the Chief, where we come out and we meet with the residents.
How's that turning out for you?
It's phenomenal. National Night Out was a blast. This open lot right up here we just passed by.
Okay.
We had probably 500-600 people that showed up, and it was only a 2-hour event. And they came.
Holy cow!
And so I pastor a church, and my church fed everybody.
Okay, you're retired Navy, retired Orange County Sheriff's Office, the new Chief of Police of Eatonville, and you're a pastor.
Yes.
Do you teach underwater scuba diving?
I'm scuba diving certified.
Of course you are. Of course you are. Why I say that as a joke, and then that happens. So, where's your church at?
I'm in the Pine Hills area of right there where they're tearing down Frito-Lay.
Okay.
I'm about a good 300 yards up east of that, west of that.
How do you have time for this?
Well, it's training your people.
Okay.
My church, me and the wife, we've been there. It'll be 15 years we're celebrating this year.
Okay.
This is actually a celebration month for my family this month.
Love it.
But my leaders, they pretty much do everything. I come in on the Sunday morning part, but they handle the Bible studies. They handle the Sunday school. They handle the small groups. They handle, and they keep me informed throughout the week of what's happening. Of course, if I need to make hospital visits, I will, or can, or whatever it needs to be. But they make sure that all of our members become self-sufficient. And that's the goal. And any true leader, the only way to be successful, you must find a way to make a successor. And so that's really what I'm doing in Eatonville. I'm building every one of our officers up that they're not just patrol officers, they're going to learn how to be investigators. And so now they can help investigate their own crimes that they've just been involved in.
Wow.
And from there, they're going to bring in that community policing component, and now you're well-rounded.
You're phenomenal. I know you don't want to hear it, but it's so nice just hearing this stuff, because I love the fact that I get to have this platform, and people genuinely, if I miss a day, they're like, hey, where's Trooper Steve on patrol? And I know for a fact people are going to see this one, and they're just going to be like, are they hiring? Are you guys currently hiring?
I am currently now. All vacancies have been filled.
Okay, that's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
That's a good place to be.
I have been hoping that would come to fruition, and I have quality people. I'm telling you, I am so excited with the staff that I have. They're a young staff, but they're a staff that really want to learn. They're going to school. They're going to trainings. They're going to different schools. They're learning not just riding back and forth and picking up calls, but also now how to see stuff ahead of time, crime prevention related stuff, how to help neighbors.
They're here because they want to be here.
They want to be here. They really want to be here.
I like that. And with it being Black History Month, and you being in charge here, Eatonville, historically a black community, what do you see the role you play as the chief, being a black man here, and the relationship you have with this community? Now, you patrolled this as a deputy. It's not like they didn't know who Stanley Murray was coming here.
Right.
Does that play a role in how you lead and your relationship in this community?
I think so. I think one of the key components to anything you do is that without information, people use their imagination. And so I do my best to make sure that our public is informed of what we're doing, why we're doing it. But most of all, we're doing it for their betterment. And so my staff, we meet at least bi-monthly. Everybody comes in, and everybody has input, and everybody brings to the table.
So it's not just you and assistant or you and a lieutenant. This is everybody.
I got to hear from everybody, because I think there are things that one person may be dealing with that another person's not aware of. We created a way that we are channeling information after each shift. Everybody gets the same information.
So almost like a post briefing. No matter, even if you're off, you're getting that information.
Still electronically, you're getting the same information.
Wow.
So everybody knows what that shift encountered.
No one's left in the dark here.
Nobody. So you coming in the shift, you already know, oh, that's the guy they were looking for. Well, there he is. It's already laid out. So nobody's coming in going, what happened today? I don't know what happened. So we created this in a manner, and learning that from the sheriff's office. We call it command staff. There were staff pages put out. Right. Well, I just made everybody basically on the staff page.
The whole department's part of it.
Yeah.
I like that, because it's like, you come here, I think the idea, if for those that don't know, cool, small town, small PD, I come in, I check out. Not here.
Nope.
It seems like the family, I'm not a big fan of that word, family, at work, especially for places that don't treat it like that.
Right.
It's very easy for people to be like, oh, we're such a family, and then you come to work, you don't feel that. But here, it seems like that's the culture you're trying to promote a little bit.
And a lot of it's just giving everybody, there is and what I call an ultimate voice.
Amen.
And everybody has a voice, but there must be a dominant voice. And that dominant voice comes with a vision. And then everybody else's job is to make sure, hey guys, we know what the vision is. So if one fail, we all fail.
Right.
But when one succeeds, we all are able to see the benefits of it. So that is the vision and the vision that I'm setting forth at Eatonville Police Department. And thus far, it has really shown and grown fruit from it.
I like it. It must be, maybe not, but maybe you can let me know that, has it been a shock for some of the guys here?
I would say so.
To have a chief like you.
I think it is. I think, not having had a vision setting system for a while, it has been some changes.
It can be stressful, right?
It's a growth part. It's a growth part of it. But I do remind them at the end of the day, and this is even from, I tell my clergy at church, even when you're giving someone direction, you got to always leave people with hope. There's always hope. Whatever you're going through, yes, but there's hope. You're the right person. You're in the right position. You can get this done. You're necessary and you're needed. And
I think I need to come to your church on a Sunday and come sit down
I'm telling you.
and listen to the word of Chief Murray, because man, I could hear it in your leadership, and that even if it wasn't a religious based, where you're coming from is bigger than this job.
It is.
Like, I think what you're trying to do here is special. I don't mean that in any cliche way. I think a lot of people would be surprised.
Well, if you're going to do any job in this field, I mean, even though it's a career-minded position, I know I'm on whatever clock has been set for me. And so I'm not wasting any of the time that I have. Every minute, every moment, I'm trying to build something the whole time. I don't want to sit idle, and I don't do mediocre in anything. In my interview, I explained to them, I've succeeded in everything I've ever done. Not because I might have come in first or second, but because I gave my best. And that's what I expect from
So there was no loss anywhere in your career?
No loss. None whatsoever.
Always something learned along the way, and you take it and give it to somebody else.
And I share it as quick as I can get rid of it.
Who wants the information? So is there ever a retirement date for you, or do you think life of service, as long as your wife's happy, you're happy, you keep on serving?
I'm sure there is down the road. My beautiful, she's a GM for one of the most prestigious hotel chains around.
All right.
Good. Love you, babe.
All right.
But I think a lot of it is just, letting God guide it. And watching people's growth and seeing how they were at one level, now they're at another level. Seeing people who maybe weren't as sure about this job. Is this really what I want to do? And now saying, Chief, I'm learning so much. I realize what I'm doing out here, and I realize I'm impacting people. And that's a rare thing.
Yeah.
I think that at the end of the day, this is a service. Even if you have to pull your gun from your holster and, God forbid, have to pull the trigger behind it, it's still a service.
Well, you're providing that service for the person that you're protecting.
That you're protecting.
Love it. Chief,
no doubt about it.
Thank you very much for giving me some time today. I know you're a busy man. To your staff, thank you for making him available. Thank you for keeping Eatonville safe out here every single day. And if you guys are interested, they're on social. Hop on there, check them out. Eatonville's website. If you have any questions, shoot him an email, a message. Chief is very chatty. He loves to talk to you. So if you run into him on the streets, stop and say hi. Don't be ever scared. I tell people all the time, if you see me, say hi. Don't be whispering in the restaurant, oh, that's Trooper Steve or that's Chief. No, the guy will talk to you. Maybe you'll learn a thing or two from him. Maybe you'll learn a thing or two from you. Chief, I appreciate you. I got one special gift for you here. Trooper Steve coin.
Oh, my.
So I hooked you up.
We got to swap. I'm going to make sure I give you
all
one.
Right. So, guys, this is Trooper Steve on patrol. This is Chief Stanley Murray from the Eatonville Police Department. We'll catch you guys later. See you guys.